Everyone, Derived Energy here. Today I will be making a response video to WisdominNature7. He made a video called My Final Words on Antinatalism, and it was absolutely abysmal. It was just crammed full of ad hominem attacks, which he should know constitutes a logical fallacy, given that he seems to have a strong interest in all things philosophical. So let's play a clip from his video.
Having had further discourse with YouTubers on the issue, I stand by my claim that antinatalism is a selfish, spiteful and bitter affectation rather than a genuine philosophy.
Okay, let's define selfishness. Maestro? It seems curious to me, WisdominNature7, that you're accusing antinatalists of being selfish, given that antinatalists are principally concerned with the welfare of future generations, rather than their own interests and needs. Antinatalists talk about the pain and suffering that can be avoided in the future if people refrain from procreation. So the concern that antinatalists display is principally for other people and other events and circumstances that will occur in the future. So I think, it's disingenuous for you to accuse antinatalists of being selfish. Okay, let's look at spiteful. Maestro. So now you're arguing that antinatalists are spiteful and malicious. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I certainly wouldn't regard myself as a spiteful and malicious person. When I was a child, I was the recipient of spiteful and malicious behavior because I was bullied quite extensively. I know what it's like to be the little kid kicked in the teeth and left lying in the gutter, so to speak, and I would never allow another person or force another person to experience that harm. And when I'm debating antinatalism on YouTube, the only time I feel spiteful or malicious to somebody is when either A, they evoke moral nihilism as a reason to discount antinatalism, or they just throw harmful ad hominem attacks at me, in which case I persevere to bite my tongue and just point out that they're making the argumentum ad hominem fallacy and try to re-engage them to actually debate the arguments rather than the person who is making the arguments. Okay, a definition of the word bitter. Maestro? Okay, so now you're arguing that antinatalists are bitter. So, and that antinatalism is a bitter affectation. Well, I'd argue that the arguments that are contained within the philosophy of antinatalism are indeed bitter. They are difficult and distasteful to accept, admit, or bear. And I think you're a case in point here. You just find it very difficult, very distasteful to accept and admit the strength of the arguments that are in the antinatalist canon, in the antinatalist arsenal. But this by itself does not repudiate the validity and honesty of the arguments that are made to support antinatalism. There's no guarantee that the truth has to be comforting. And yes, I'm sure many antinatalists have experienced a great deal of severe grief, anguish, and disappointment in their life, but can't you see that this enables them to appreciate um, how difficult and unbearable life can get at times, and this enables them to empathize with other people who may experience these kinds of sentient experiences in the future. So they therefore have a motivation to do what they can to discourage people from creating more people who will also experience these unpleasant mental states in the future, and marked by resentment or cynicism. I mean, occasionally I feel resentful towards my parents, because they took it upon themselves to create me due to their own desires and needs to become a parent and to play God, But I know that, like the majority of the human race, my parents were and are merely emotionally driven, irrational, and deluded animals who thought that they were entitled to play God, but they weren't entitled to play God. I'm here now sat before you telling you that they should not have done what they did, because now I have to face the brunt of their decision that has set in motion some very unpleasant and harmful events that will occur to me in the future, unless I can create the courage in me, instill the courage in me to commit suicide. Then I'm going to get old. I'm going to lose people I love and care for, and I'm going to die, and I have no idea how I may die, unless, as I say, I can summon forth the courage to take my own life. It could be that I experience a huge amount of suffering at the end, and this disconcerts me. This disconcerts me a great deal. Um, so, and the third point, marked by cynicism. I mean, yeah, I think to be cynical is a mark of intelligence. To question the means that we are surrounded by, to ask questions and to inquire, to research, to look into things, to expand our exposure to different arguments and points of views. And I think that the world in which we find ourselves warrants a great deal of cynicism. Why are people behaving the way they do? Why, what are their reasons for wanting to create sentient beings? What is the whole human condition enterprise built on? What exactly are we achieving here? Why are so many people susceptible to believing in ridiculous fantasies such as a sky god in the sky? These are questions that I feel one should ask, and the answers I find are very unsatisfactory. So I feel that my cynicism is fully justified. Okay, you described antinatalism as an affectation. Now, this ad hominem attack, because that's what it is, it didn't make me feel spiteful and malicious towards you, but it did annoy and irritate me and make me feel a little bit contemptuous towards you. Let's have a look at the definition of affectation. So essentially what you're doing here, Wisdom in Nature 7, is you're trying to argue that antinatalists don't actually believe what they are arguing, that it's some kind of pretense, they're just giving a false impression of what they actually believe in. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, I genuinely believe that I'm the only sentient being in this room. I genuinely believe that this cigarette lighter is not deprived of anything and doesn't need anything. You know, I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that you cannot deprive energy/matter that is not configured in such a way as to manifest sentience. I genuinely believe this. It's not an affectation. You know, I've spent since February making antinatalist videos. I've made nearly 200 videos on antinatalism. You know, I've participated on philosophy forums arguing for antinatalism. Why would I argue for something that I don't regard as an accurate account of reality? You know, I mean, it's just such a ridiculous argument you're making here. It's like me arguing, because I've seen you on your channel make anti-theistic, anti-religion videos. It's like me arguing that you actually believe in the Bible and Christianity, and you espousing the merits of atheism. It's just a pretense. Perhaps because although you believe the Bible to be true, you know that you are morally depraved, so you will never go to heaven. So what you want to do is you want to persuade people to become atheists, so that you know that they will then go to hell, and you want them to go to hell, but in actuality you are a theist and you actually believe that the Bible is true. I mean, can you see what an infantile argument this is? Okay, so you're arguing that antinatalism isn't a philosophy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through some definitions of philosophy and what it makes inquiries about, and then I'm going to show how antinatalism is in fact a philosophy. Okay, so I think I'm comfortable in assuming that we would both agree that philosophy can be defined as a love and pursuit of wisdom. Unfortunately, we seem to be disagreeing here on what constitutes wisdom. You couch wisdom in terms of cultivating an appreciation for beauty, whereas I regard philosophy as being intellectually honest and developing moral excellence. And you know, when you use a word like beauty, you are trying to learn about beauty through empirical means, whereas I'm viewing the human condition in terms of through the glasses of applying inductive logical reasoning, ergo intellectual means, and therefore perceiving the world as a net-sum game that causes unnecessary pain and suffering for every sentient being that comes into the world and experiences life. I mean, when you use a word like beauty, it really is a mushy, subjective, messy word. I mean, different people find different things beautiful. Some people find accumulating large amounts of money beautiful. Some people find the sport of football beautiful, like Pele describes football as the beautiful game. Some people find chess beautiful. Some people find running away from the harsh reality of our condition consoling and therefore beautiful and comforting. You know, they find the notion of praying to some deity nailed on a cross beautiful. Some people find subjecting other people to harm and reveling in humiliating other people beautiful. Let's look at some pictures that show different things that different people find beautiful. As you can see, there are a disparate number of things that different people find beautiful. This is subjective mush. The fact that different people find different things beautiful is problematic because it means that human beings will always be prepared to fight each other, wage war, and exploit other people for what they want and what they want to obtain at the cost of other people. This is why if we look at the history record books, we just see a long list of wars and exploitation. Then there are people like you who feel that you can augment your subjective appreciation of beauty um, by integrating pain and suffering into your experiences of the world. But unfortunately for you, I don't share your sensibilities, and I would appreciate it if people like you would stop advocating other people creating other sentient beings for their own gratification when they can create people like myself who are intelligent, discernible and perceptive enough to see through this insidious and sick DNA reproducing game. Thank you. Okay, so Benatarian antinatalism is based on inductive logical reasoning. If not X, then not Y and not Z, where X equals the presence of sentience, Y equals deprivational states, and Z equals pain and suffering. Ergo, in the absence of sentience, there is no deprivational states and no pain or suffering. The Benatarian asymmetry is therefore informed by inductive logical reasoning rather than empirical methods. Okay, I think it's safe to say that the belief that life is a gift and is something that can be created without any kind of ethical justification is a fundamental belief and assumption held by the majority of the human race, and antinatalism critiques this fundamental assumption and belief. Therefore, antinatalism qualifies as a philosophy when viewed through that criteria.